good evening. I know you're like, she's back. I know. And you know what? We have another barber coming on too. She's always back as well. And some other our superstar diamonds. But before I bring on the Diamond Perspective panel, I just want to say, I hope everybody's doing a wonderful Thursday. I just can't believe this. It's like the week is just going. Okay, that's going to have to stop. The week is just going, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if it's just me or what. And I didn't even feel the holiday. I'm just being honest. It seemed like it just looped right through with everything else. So, I mean, I had to look at my calendar. I'm like, okay, what does it say? What, June? Yeah. So with that said, we are back. I know we had to take a little break from May. Things happen, but we are back. I'm determined because I love this panel. I love when we come on the first Thursdays of the month because we discuss some awesome ideas and thoughts, and we have so many good gold nuggets to give to everybody. And I love the panel discussions because you get like different perspectives from everywhere. So I'm not going to take up the time. We have an hour, but I'm not going to take it all on me. You want to hear just me. I know that. You want to hear the other awesome ladies that are coming on. But before I do that, I have to say we had a great bad loss that we had from one of our panelists, Pat, and she was just phenomenal. And I want to give I did a video a little while ago, and I want to make sure I said once we had our Diamond Perspective panel come back, I wanted to just do that in memory of her and another really close best friend, Barbara Ellis, who's a part of our panel. I know she was a friend to all of us, but she was a true friend to Barbara Ellis. So I still ask people to keep her in prayer. I mean, she is still moving strong and got her own shows and I call it the celebrity. But overall, we still need to show that love. We need to show those virtual hugs for each other because when people pass in your life, that's truly, truly just a monument of awesomeness. We have to make sure that we're there for each other. So I want to play the video and then I want to bring everybody on and then we are going to really talk about our topic for tonight. And that's, do you know your true value? We're going to discuss that. Do you really understand your true value? So I'm going to play the video and I will bring on the wonderful Queen Diamonds that are among us. And here we go. Let's see.
Today it's a Pat and Barb show.
Okay.
Oh, it's always tough to watch that.
I know. I really was like, should I do this? But I wanted to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. So before we even start, lovely Queen Diamonds, she was truly, truly, and we're always going to have her. I told Barbara, when me and Barbara talk,
Yep.
It's forever going to be Pat here, forever.
Yeah.
So Barbara,
Yeah.
did you want to say a few words before we get into our topic?
Pat she was my first friend after my husband passed away. And we just did we started a course together and we just became fast friends from then. And we had so many plans. And for her to be taken from us so suddenly. And so in my mind, senselessly to the car accident, but she is going to be missed.
Yeah. Well, I just have to say, Barbara, I am just, like I said earlier, I'm so proud of you because you're taking on her memory so well. I mean, you have the show you two are doing together. You're doing that.
Yeah.
You got the Barbara and Friends show. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
mentioned, and then we have our show. So it's just
Yes.
yeah,
Exactly.
fascinating.
And so often, even just in these last, well, not quite 2 months that she's been gone. So often I go, oh, and then it's like, oh yeah, she's gone. And I want to pick up the phone and call her, or I'll be thinking about something, and it'll be something that we had planned to do, and it's just, but it's been tough because whole bunches of the things that we did together were in her computer.
I'm trying to get that
So
out.
I have had to recreate whole bunches of things. So
Mm,
that's been a little bit
challenging.
challenging and frustrating because I'm not the techie. But I'm learning.
You're
But
like,
I'm
oh
learning.
yeah, yeah. You always find those new gadgets. For some reason, you
I
always
find
find those new.
I'm a gadget girl. I'm a gadget girl. I love gadgets. It's part of my personality. I love gadgets. So, uh,
So,
yeah.
so with that, I want to before we start, thank you so much, and like I said, it's an honor to give her tribute
Yeah.
and to keep on going. I always feel like she's just here, even though she's gone.
Yeah.
We can't see her.
Yeah.
But before we start, I always want to make sure. First of all, I want to welcome a guest. Hopefully, she can come on every month. Y'all, I'm already plugging that, Miss Miss Regina. This was a good
Thank you.
surprise. I'm like, oh yes, hi,
Yeah.
lady.
It's great to be here. I got that message from y'all this afternoon. I was like, okay, I'm going to do my very best to be there. So it was fun last time, and I loved coming back. And I just wanted to thank you for that beautiful tribute to Pat. That was beautiful.
I'm
Yeah.
telling she's there. So thank you for coming, Regina. I always love you coming on, and you just give so much wisdom, and you're just an awesome coach. And I can just the list
Thank
goes on
you.
with everything. But thank you for coming on the show.
Thank
And
you.
then we have our Miss America Superma as always, looking pretty. How you doing,
Thank
lady?
you. I'm good. I'm excited. School's out. I'm just like, I just, I just didn't think this day was going to come fast enough. So 7 kids done with remote learning. I am
Ooh,
just like over the top. Okay. And one graduate. So, hey, we're excited.
oh yeah,
Wow.
graduate.
Hmm.
Wow,
That's
wow.
right.
Oh my God, I know,
Yeah.
I know. Sometimes I think is it good when well it sounds like it's better when they're out of school than when they're in school because they're in school you got to make sure they're doing their work every day but
Right.
out they just can just be out like okay
For a
have fun
minute.
Yeah.
I'm like,
for a
look,
minute.
I'm enjoying this week because then it's like, I'm bored. Where are we going? Are we going anywhere? What are we doing? That type of thing. So I'm just enjoying the moment. Okay. You see, I have my tea. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
even though they're running around slamming doors in the background, you can't
Oh,
hear. Yeah.
You can't hear it though.
you can't yeah I'm like Barty can't hear it.
Yep.
Yeah. Two of my little ones, they go back and forth. They are doing some craft project in the room. So, yeah.
Okay. Those are always fun. Those are always fun.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to ask all our listeners if we have some listeners coming on which is wonderful if you could share out this program, this
Hmm.
wonderful panel. We're going to be discussing some value, and I know it's just going to be a lot of things going to be dropped in people's ears, and something that you can take with you and really just let it meditate in your life.
Right.
So I want to start off first with it. I know I kind of introduced everybody, but I want you to introduce properly of basically what you do far as your business because one thing about what I always do and I'll start what I am. My name is Barbara Beckley. My business is the Diamond Factor LLC, which my mission is to help women shine like diamonds in the world. And that means shine through social media, shine through interviews, shine just to make sure that people understand what their PPD is. And I call that their purpose, passion, and drive in life. And so that's what I do. And I really love when we all get together because, we just learn. We learn and we grow.
Mhm.
So always remember that. I just want to put that out there to everybody. Always no matter who that's talking to you, always have them open ears. You know, I know we can do this all the time. We're all talkers, we're all speakers and everything. But sometimes you just need to just shut that down for a minute and just let this open up more, because you might miss a golden moment or opportunity from one of these ladies, or even anybody that you talk to, that can give you some really valuable advice. So that's kind of like my little advice tonight for everybody. And I want to go to Regina. If you could just tell everybody what you do.
Sure, thank you. And again, it's a pleasure to be here. So I am the owner, CEO of Bridgeport Strategy. I am an international best-selling author, host of the podcast Pursuing Profit with Principles, which is one of our latest adventures. And I am a profit acceleration and exit strategy coach. Those are my specialties.
Congratulations on your new venture. I've been watching it here and there, and I know Barbara's been a part of it. So I love that. I just love it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And let's go to Miss Barbara Ellis.
Hey, you know what? I'm Barbara Ellison, and I am your personality pro, because personality drives reality. It impacts every area of our life. And my mission, I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm, and not the happiness that you think just, oh, yay, 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 but the underlying joy of your life. Because and just, I want people to live happy, healthy, financially free, abundant lives. But the thing is, part of happiness is being able to have impact and influence, but also to earn income. Because we all have bills to pay. And so what I do is I work with heart-centered entrepreneurs who just want to tweak their messaging so that they can just, like, connect with, they can attract, but they can also convert their ideal clients. And so it's just fun to do that. And that's tweaking. I like that word. It's tweaking. Because it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot. It's just you have to tweak just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I like that.
A little.
And Miss America Supermom.
Awesome. So glad to be here, and just a great time. Again, I just want to say thank you again for the tribute for Pat. So just, I am America's Supermom, mother of 15. I'm a TV producer, podcast host, speaker, author, all things media related to mental wellness, raising awareness for that. I also am a lifestyle designer to help women be empowered to understand that they can face life's obstacles with a smile instead of stress.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you know what? While you said that, America Supermom, can you tell them, because I know you have the acronym for SMILE. I love the acronym. Can you say that real quickly? Yeah.
So I just feel like in terms of really being able to keep abreast of our mental wellness, we need to make sure that we smile every day. And that's an acronym of 5 key areas that we need to monitor on a daily basis to make sure that we stay abreast of our mental wellness. And that is sleep, mood, your inner voice, laughter, and energy. So really trying to check in each of those areas and, just to make sure we do something or, keep the status on any of those things to kind of keep ourselves in a nice mental state.
Yeah. I like that.
I love that. Yeah. See? Yeah. Anybody want to like kind of go towards that?
Well, I just want to say, and you do that on top of raising 15 children.
I did it wrong for so long. Look, did it wrong for so long, Regina. I learned what doesn't work. So now I'm on a different
Okay. That makes sense. My daughter has 2 children. And this morning I was chatting with her and I said, so what's your day to day? She said, it's a school day. I said, okay, I know what your day is.
Exactly. I was an only
and she's
child.
only got 2.
I was an only child. So every day is like crazy.
Yeah.
It's an adventure. Yeah.
And today a friend of mine and I,
you. Sorry, Barb.
A friend of mine, I was talking to her today, And she said, "You know what? I came down this morning and found glitter nail polish all over my bathroom sink, and over the toilet." And she said, "It would have been okay if it had been a 4-year-old that did it, but it was the 10-year-old that did it." And I said, "Well, welcome to my world." Elsa, 10 years old, she decided that she was going to paint her nails with black glitter nail polish
Oh boy.
all over the bathroom sink, all over the bathroom sink. And she's 10.
Wow.
And so that was our discussion today of they never grow up sometimes. You just
Never. Yeah.
you just have to love them because
Yep.
So it was like we just laughed because there's nothing you could do. I mean,
Nothing.
and I guess what he tried to do is he tried to get it off with clear nail polish. So on top of the glitter, there was clear nail polish. So she said, "Yeah." She said, "I just looked at it and said, yeah, I'll look at it later."
Pick your battles.
So they're gonna have a party when she goes home.
I know that's
To
right.
clean up the nail polish. Yeah, you just.
They
One thing
really
about-
help you. You learn some cleaning secrets when it comes to children. You learn how to clean a lot of stuff. Okay.
Oh yeah. Thank goodness for nail polish remover. I've
Yeah.
used it for several things.
Uh-huh.
For several things, you can use nail polish remover.
So while we're talking of CC, have you seen this goes right into value now? See, we value things. We value smiles. We value nail polish remover. We just value a lot of different things. So before we start, I have a quote.
And we hit laughter. And we hit
And we
laughter.
have
we hit
laughter.
laughter.
This is,
It all
and
just
we have
kind of
laughter.
intertwined. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It works. It works. So I want to start off with, I want to open up with our topic tonight with talking about value. And one of the reasons why I kind of chose this is I'm noticing, especially, one thing, especially now with the whole pandemic thing and everything, where people have started to second guess themselves in certain areas because some things they used to do, or, be a business or maybe personal, guess what? We had to make some, like you said, tweaks, and more than just a tweak. We had to do a whole spin or a turn or whatever the word is. I know pivot is like the new word right now, but anything that you want to call that. So I've been noticing people that I've been talked to, even my clients or just my friends, business partners, they were like questioning a little bit on, okay, what can I do now? What my value is, or who really am I? Or I need to seek out. And sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes you have to reanalyze, do audit of yourself. I mean, I know I did through the pandemic and even now. So I told myself, I said, I think that's something nice to talk about, because you don't want to go down that road of losing yourself or thinking you're not valuable because the things around us, what's going around, or maybe something inside of you that's kind of saying something else. So I have a quote I thought was interesting just for this. It says, if you don't know your own value, somebody will tell you your value, and it will be less than your worth. And I thought that was very interesting. So I want to read it again. If you don't know your own value, somebody will tell you your value, and it will be less than your worth.
That's powerful.
True.
Regina, when I read that tonight, I was like, well, I had to read it like 3 times. Like, that's good.
It is good.
That is good.
That's very powerful and very true.
Yeah. So anybody want to expound on that? We can start, discussing that, what your feelings are, your take on it.
Let's read that one more time.
And see, that's what I'm saying. If you don't know your own value, somebody will tell you your value, and it will be less than your worth.
Yeah.
Yes.
That I just think, when it comes to this, it's back to really knowing who you are and just your value that you have for the things that you bring to the table. So a lot of times when it comes to business, you know, we get into this whole thing of comparing ourselves to other people, and we really lose sight of what skill set we bring to the table. You know, when it comes to business, everybody doesn't have to do the same thing, but you can just do the thing that helps you to be moving forward, achieving your goals, and really capitalize on your skill set. So much so that you can save somebody time, money, and solve problems for them. And when we get into the situation of the comparison, we begin to forget about the worth that we have. And then we devalue ourselves. I would say it's not even so much other people, but it's us devaluing our own worth because we're so busy trying to recreate or duplicate somebody else instead of being our true self.
Well put. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think on that, Barbara?
Yeah. You know, and one of the things, it always comes back to one of my favorite things is that, you know, quit beating yourself up for the things that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, really admire and accept the things that you are and build on those. And yes, the things that you're not, yeah, you can work on them. Absolutely. If you really don't want to, if it's something technical that you don't really want to do, then get somebody else to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Know the concept of it, but quit beating yourself up for what you're not. And really value, and that word, it's just what we were just talking about with that comparing. Don't compare yourself to anybody, because where you are, they might be just one bare step ahead of you, and yet it seems like they're miles ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not, but they've just got that one step above where you are, one or two steps, and that's where you want to aspire to. But lots of times, I think so often people compare themselves to gurus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ones that have been around for 25 years. You can't. You can't. You know, just go to get somebody that's one or two steps above you and help, and have them help you. Ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because and the thing is, though, you have to remember that there's somebody that's one or two steps below you that needs your help.
Yeah. And I
that
agree,
is
Barbara.
that's
important. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I was just going to add to that, Barbara, because remember I said earlier about we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And we really need to, you know, learn. Don't look at it so much like they're there and they're all doing that. I'm trying to be like them. No, be you. Learn from them. They have some things that they can give you to say, hey, let's work on that. Be you, but let's learn to move you to another level. And I think a lot of times people get a little bit, like you said, Barbara, they have that imposter syndrome where they want to be like, you know, Tony Robbins or Lisa Nichols, or, you know, and even these are my two people that I listen to, as you can see, or I call the ET man, you know, Eric Thomas, or all these other people, and they're there. But I keep telling people they were here before they were there. I mean, they all went through hard work, learning things. They were asking questions of people, from people before we even knew them. So you have to look at that, because they look at where they're at now and they're like, whoa, you know, and I'm here. Well, they weren't there when you are, and they talk about it all the time. So I think that's where we start kind of little by little by little, saying, well, I'm not all that, or maybe I'm this, but not. And then all of a sudden that little talk is louder and louder and louder. And you have to really be careful with that. So I wanted to kind of pinpoint on that, because the first part of that was if you don't know your own value. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about, you know, how you have some people, like 4 of us. We're strong women. We kind of know we know who we are. We do what we do. But there's other people out there, especially other women too, that might not be there just yet. So what would you tell that individual, you know, if they're kind of teetering or having those issues?
You know, if I could, Barb, Barbara, one thing I think is that we forget that what we see when we're comparing ourselves to others is we see the outward image that they project to the world. We look in the mirror and we see all of our own faults. We see all the inside because we're intimate with ourselves, right? But we're not with that other individual. And we can never measure up when we're comparing their vision they show to the world with what we know is inside of us. So you're absolutely right. We need to not be comparing ourselves. But I wanted to talk about one other thing in terms of value too, and that's our pricing for our services. If can I go down that road?
You read my mind.
All right. So I think especially as new entrepreneurs, there's a tendency to really underprice our value, underprice what we are charging our clients. And part of that is that we're thinking, okay, I'm spending an hour or 2 hours or whatever, and what's an hour of time worth? But we forget that we're not giving that person an hour of our time. We're giving them a lifetime of experiences and knowledge that allow us to be able to serve them at that level, which is worth way more than anyone's 1 hour of time.
Ooh, I love that. When you said we're giving them a lifetime of experience.
Exactly.
That alone, when you think about it, I think for all of us here, because you all have so much experience, nobody could put a price on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we put the price on it because we're working, we have clients, but when you really think about it, all your experience between you, Regina, America's Supermom, Barbara, I think we lost her for a minute. And myself, you just have to say to yourself, oh my God. And then some people are like, well, I don't know if they're going to pay for it. I don't know if, they would, they might think I know too much. So maybe I just need to tweak it, or I need to do discounts. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, Regina, because it's leading down to that. That's why another reason why I picked this value, because I see that a lot. In fact, I'm going to be vulnerable. I seen it in me. I was doing it. I mean, I know me and America Supermom, because she's also a marketing expert and she helps people with their marketing. And we talked a lot. She trained me on some things, and she said, Barbara, you're charging what? You're charging $40 for an hour, for half an hour with you. Think about all the stuff that you know, and that they're taking the time to tell them this.
Yeah.
And I would always say, well, some people don't know me, so I'm trying to, and like, So yeah.
Yeah.
You know those talks.
And we shouldn't waffle when folks question that value.
Right.
I was listening to someone today, or reading, I can't remember which. Anyway, he was talking about, he had this group program, and it was a certain price. And the one fellow said, but I really I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to do this. I want to be a one-on-one client with you. I want you to serve me one-on-one. He said, that's fine. It's $50,000. And, that's what my one-on-one time is worth. And so, you have to know your value. You have to know that worth that you're providing to them. What's the outcome that they're going to get from working with you? What's that transformation that's going to occur in their life, and what's that worth?
Well, yeah, I think that's the confidence is not really there for a lot of people because they really don't study that. They just pull these prices out of the sky or off Google, based on looking at a couple of different competitors, rather than really understanding what it is that they're bringing to the table, what they're willing to do or not do. And when you're clear on that, you can charge anything you want and just be happy with that. Right. But if it's some kind of, where you're not really clear, you're just following somebody else's formula, you are going to feel a little shaky when things don't work the way you thought they should. So I think that's important to highlight as well.
And doesn't that go back to the quote in terms of we're letting someone else establish our value, and it's not going to be what our value is. I think it ties back perfectly to Barbara's quote.
Yeah. Because I was just thinking that I don't, if it is also, I look at this quote, and there's another quote when it's talking about telling your story of, telling who you are. Like
Mhm.
people say, if you don't tell your story, then somebody else might tell your story, and they're not going to tell it right because they don't know you.
Mhm.
They don't know your story.
Right.
That's the same thing with your value. If you don't do it, somebody else will, and they're not going to
Mhm.
do it the right way because they don't know you. They don't know your experience. They don't know what you do. They'll just be like, "Oh yeah," because I have people, "Oh, Barbara, yeah, she'll give you a discount on that." I'm like, "What? Who told you? When did we have this conversation?"
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I've been knowing her for years. She'll give you a discount.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, no.
Absolutely.
Said that.
Mhm.
You'd be like, wait a minute, wait a
Yeah,
minute.
and and that's one of the things that Regina really talks about in her program is that there's a difference between getting a discount and what's the word you use? It's not giving them a discount. What's the other one? It's that because you add more value so that
Right.
you don't
Complimentary.
because if you discount that your profit margin goes down the tubes.
Yeah. So you should have another offer that is of lesser value
Another
and lesser
offer.
price
Yeah.
that you can offer them if they're not ready for your first offer. But don't discount your price, because you're giving away all your
But
profit.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is
You
what
know,
I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Good stuff. I love that. Instead
and
of
I can
saying
remember doing that.
you did that too, Barbara. Yeah, I think we all
We've
did.
all done it.
We
We've
all
all
done
done
it.
it.
We
Mhm.
all
Oh,
done it.
done it. You
I think
know.
that goes back to what we're talking about here too, is that we've all made those steps. We've all done those things in our business.
Mhm.
Tony Robbins didn't start out Tony Robbins that is here today, right?
Mhm.
We're all normal people making going down the same path that others have gone. We've learned some things that puts us a little bit further down that path, but
Mhm.
we're all normal people who chose not to be average. Does that
Mm.
make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
But we
Ooh,
put
I
our,
like
the
that.
old expression
Yeah.
is we put our pants on one leg at a time, just like anybody else. Have y'all heard that expression? Things
Mhm.
were just normal, but we've
Right.
chosen
Yeah.
not to be average. We've chosen to excel at what we do.
Right.
I just like to
Right.
sit in when the knowledge and wisdom. I just like to sit in that. I tell some people just help. You have to
I
do like a
love
little
watching you do that, Barbara.
Yeah.
I know
It
you
is
can
some
probably see
good
all my
stuff.
expressions. It's just like, I'm still going back to the aha moment when you just said about instead of don't devalue your price, just make another offer with a lower value.
An
I'm like,
offer that's
with a
lower.
lower offer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. I mean,
Yeah.
this is
Right.
Think
That's a
about,
nugget.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
nugget.
Mhm.
Let me give you just an example you've all seen for example, you go to a gym. They've got a 1-year program they offer. And you say, I'm not in, that doesn't work for me. Okay, well, great. We've got this 6-month program. It's a lesser price, but it's only 6 months, not a year. No, and they work their way down to, it may be, okay, we've got a free 1-week trial for you, but you're getting them
Mhm.
in the door. You're getting them into your world. So you keep that downsell going till you hit that place that works for them and still brings them into your world.
Mhm.
But
Because then
downsells,
you can nurture
upsells,
them.
and cross sells
Because
are
then you
important.
can because then you can nurture them.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that's like one of the things that I've really understood from Regina is that only 3% of the people will buy on at the beginning.
Are ready. They're ready now
Or
to
are,
buy.
are
Mhm.
ready
Yeah.
are ready to buy that are ready to buy now. And
Right.
so where's the rest of them? Well, they're in your nurturing campaign. That's why
Hopefully
follow-up is
so.
so important.
So true. And I
You
think
know?
another thing to add with that too is when you offer that lower item, make sure that it's something that they can implement and get some results.
Yes.
Because a
Excellent.
lot of
Yes.
times people just,
Excellent.
if they're not taking action,
Yeah.
you got to give them a sample, a taste
Yeah.
of
Right.
what it's going to be like with them feeling successful so that they'll come back for more.
Exactly. That's
Right.
that's one of those powerful ones.
Mhm.
Right. And
Awesome.
one of the lessons that I learned early on, learned it and just because did it, you know, you have to tell people what you can do, but not the how to do it. You might tell them one
Right.
little thing of how, because there were so many times where I would just tell, and then they didn't need me.
Mm-hmm.
Oops,
So you told them how to, yeah.
oops,
Yeah.
because I showed them how. So they took it and ran
Mhm.
with it.
Right.
Mhm.
And okay, and I've had people that come back to me and said, "Gee, thanks, Barb, for showing me how to do this, but that didn't put money in my pocket."
So true. So true.
And we've
I
all
always
done
say,
it.
yeah, because
We've all
I know
done
people
it.
say, Barbara, tell them the result, what they're going to get. Don't tell them the process and how to
Right.
get it.
Don't
You
Right.
just
tell
tell
them
them, okay,
how
you
you
get to
did
here.
it.
And then because they need to pay you for how to and teach you in the
The
process,
how
that
to.
part. Yeah.
Right.
So true.
Build
Yeah.
the vision of where you can take them.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
Right.
but again, yeah, don't tell them that process.
Don't tell them
Yeah.
how. And I love that. It's like there's that old story about the mechanic that he was doing something with the car, and this guy was standing there, and he said, "Well, that's going to be $3,000 to fix it." He said, "But all you did was spend 5 minutes, and you tapped on something in the engine." He said, "Yeah, but you're paying me for the fact that I knew where to tap."
Exactly. I just read that this week, Barb. We must have been reading the same
Yeah,
things.
we must have been reading the same thing, but it's
That's good.
absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
To know where to
It's
tap.
that's that lifetime of experience and knowledge that we bring
Yeah.
to the table. It has value.
Oh, that one I have to. Oh, I love that one. I have to use that one.
Yeah, and there's a couple of different versions of it. Like I like the one that's the brain surgeon. The mechanic was sitting there and he says, "Well, I take things apart now. I can put it back together again. So, how come you're making all this money?" So the surgeon goes back to him and says, "Well, yeah, but can you do it with the engine running?" And the brain surgeon
I
can.
love that.
It's
Oh,
true.
God.
It's your level of expertise.
Right.
But see that goes back to, I always call that the secret sauce. I mean, if you know the secret sauce and they don't know, like you said, they're like, I can't, because I mean, when you think about it, if it looks like it was just that, okay, I just tapped on this one thing and going back to the person,
Yeah,
and they fixed it. But
exactly.
like you said, like Regina said too, well, you didn't know where to tap. He
Yeah.
did, because he had the experience.
Exactly.
So he said,
Mhm.
my experience is worth $3,000 for me to find where to tap. Okay,
Right.
you get upset. The people get upset and say, "Well, I paid $3,000 for that." And then he said, "You know what? Forget what I just did. Come back. Let's start all over again. And you ask me the question to help you. I'll say no, I can't. It's $3,000. So then you'll be tapping all over the car, trying to figure out what to do, and
Where it
can't get
is.
nowhere."
Yeah, exactly.
So if you want it done right, what do?
Ask somebody. That's
Yeah.
true.
He said,
Ask
and you have
ask
to
for
pay.
help.
Sometimes you're paying, yeah.
Yeah.
And just going back to what Regina said real quick before, I know Regina had something to say, is with people and their value. And I think somebody mentioned that. I think it was Tony Robbins. Somebody said their coaching or whatever is like, I think it was $45,000, something like that. Well, I was looking at who's the hunger man? I'm gonna be hungry.
Les Brown.
Les Brown.
Les Brown.
Les Brown, and I was looking at his website, because I kind of check out people's websites too, just to see, maybe I can tweak, and just again tweaking and stuff. You learn from others, and he had it where he said, if you want to be one-on-one with me, and this was for I think 2 months, he was charging $45,000, and
Tony Robbins, I think, is 75,000.
and some people be like, 2 months. I thought at least be a year or 6 months.
Right.
Yeah. No.
2 months. 2 months.
2 months.
But the results from that, and people pay it because they're like, okay, I'm trying to
Yeah.
move, and I'm going to invest in me. So
Mhm.
let's talk a little bit, talking about value now. And I just talked about that, but I'll let Regina say what she was going to say before we get into that.
Well, I kind of went over that thought, but I had another one. So,
Mhm.
what you just said is really key. Something really key in that is that you need to understand who your ideal client is,
Mhm.
because that ideal client can pay that price that is your value, and the others cannot. A lot of folks are great to work with, but they can't really afford your services. And so you have to decide how much of your your business, you're going to be working with those who can't really afford your services versus those who are your ideal client and your price tag doesn't scare them.
Yeah. And I think when you get around the people, I was listening to another coach the other day, and they were like, if you keep getting people coming in front of you and saying, when you tell them okay, I'm just going to use example, your coaching package for one day is $500. I'm just putting that out there as an example. And you go to people, you tell them this is what you'll get, this is the results. And they're like, ooh, $500. Ooh, that's kind of, and then you get like 5 or 6 people telling you that coach said, you're in front of the wrong people. Just like Regina said, you are in front of the wrong people. And what happens is when you don't search for the people that you should be in front of, then you start devaluing yourself after a while because people keep saying, no, give me a discount. No, or they say, no, no, no. I mean, it's either give me a discount or no, I can't do it, or that's kind of high, or whatever the deal is. You're in front of you're not in front of your, like you said, your clients that you should be serving. And that's so important because you can go that route. I mean, I've been there where I was like, wait a minute, this is not. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, I even told them to do a payment plan. Really? But they like, no, too steep.
So true.
You know? But yeah, so you have to be in front of your group. I mean, people that's gonna say, I have no, it won't be a blink of the eye. It will be like you say 500 said, okay, here's my credit card. Yeah. Where do you want me to pay? You know?
And that may be, there may be somebody today that's in your audience that is not your ideal client who may become your ideal client at a later point. They may, their growth may bring them back around to where they're ready financially and otherwise to take advantage of what you have to offer. And I remembered what it was too, Barb. It was about you. I'm not sure which one of you said it, but you said, ask, if you don't know these things, just ask. And that brings us back to the value of having a coach in your life or coaches, that none of us know everything. We need outside help. None of us achieve it all on our own.
Right. That's one of my favorite sayings, and I say it all the time, is we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
And until you are in, that's where I love these groups. I love doing these panels and group discussions because all of a sudden it'll be like one little inkling of, that might, and it sparks a whole, change of direction of you just pivot, you can just, and it's like all of a sudden, whoa. Yeah. And you're off and running, and it changes your life. It changes not only your life, but it changes the life of the ripple effect that goes in. That's what Regina and I talk about that all the time, is that ripple effect that we're not even going to know about.
Yeah, about whose life we impacted.
Down. Yeah. But about whose life we've impacted. And it can be just a word.
Yeah, just one word. Yeah. So I wanted to go back real quickly just because that was just so awesome, Regina. I'm still thinking about that. How don't devalue your other package, just give them a lower one with a lower value, but giving them results, as Supermom said. So I want to say, with that, we talking about these big packages. We just said, Tony Robbins 75,000, Les Brown 45,000. So when people might say, "Ooh, that's high," so you give them something. Okay, you don't want to be with me? I'll give you a recording for 30 minutes. You're $47, and we'll just tell you basic boom, boom, boom. So they went from 45,000 to 45. But see, they don't understand when you pay a lesser amount because you don't have it at that time, you're going to get less of the value. And then you got to work even harder now because now you got to take, maybe they said, okay, you need to learn how to commit yourself and you need to learn how to be accountable. I mean, that might be in the video. So now you're like, okay, but how do I do that?
How do you do that?
Right. We got another package for you, in a group setting. We'll take those 2 words I told you in that little video, and we'll see how it climbs into that. But I say that because I've done that where I'm like, well, that package right now for me is not. So they say, oh, Barbara, they'll tell me in a heartbeat, Barbara, I got something for you. I get you this 15-minute video, and I look at the video, I'm like, I was like, this is an overview. That's
But
not
I'm not
telling me.
understanding this video.
Yeah, I'm like, what is she? But how did she get there? And wait a minute, did she say something? How did she
Right.
get there? You know, all the extra questions come out of your head. but I just paid
Yes.
$45.
Right.
Right.
And learned a
That's
lesson
like
in the process.
and you learned that you learned a lesson. And one of my things is that okay, so value your time. I think one of the things that this comes into it. Value your time and your level of expertise. Wherever that is. And there's no right or wrong to it. It's just what is your level of expertise and how much time do you have? And I have to tell you that I have a whole list of programs that I have bought on the side of my refrigerator that I bought thinking, oh, I'm going to grow into it. And it took me longer to grow into it than what I thought it was going to. So then by the time I grew into it, it was obsolete. So
Been there, done that.
So yeah, shelf help up the yin yang.
Yeah.
And so be aware, value your level of expertise and where you are. And if you need help with something right at your level of expertise or just one level above to get to the next level, absolutely do it.
Yeah.
But don't try to go 5 steps ahead. Because I'm gonna use that after like one of the things for me was like, well, I was gonna do this social media thing, and I said, well, after I get my Thrive cart set up and my active campaign set up, and I'm like, ooh, how do you do that? And now I'm learning how to do it. But one of the programs, it's like, yeah, I'm not anywhere near ready for it. So go at your own speed and value your speed. You don't have to go at anybody else's speed but your own.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that
And
up,
some
Barbara.
things are
That's
going to
good.
take longer. Some things are going to take longer, and some things you will just breeze right through.
Yeah.
So just accept where you are.
I'm so glad you said that.
What your learning speed is. You know, like one of the things that I teach on is the stages of learning. And when you get in stage 2 of learning, where it's just frustrating and it's like, oh, am I ever going to get this? And that's where so often people quit because they're not valuing what they're learning. Even if they only learn one little thing, value that piece of learning that you just learned. And if you can tell somebody else about it, then you've learned it. If you can't turn around and tell somebody else about how to do it, then you don't know it yet. Go back and start learning it. Get another little piece of learning and get somebody to help you with it. Because then once you can turn around and say, hey, you know what? Gee, Lachelle, this is how you do this, this, and this. Oh, yay! You know it. It's a stage of learning.
Yeah.
I was just going to say real quickly before I want to get around for everybody to say what they do so people can get the chance to contact you. But I want just to add to what Barbara said about your pace. Because a lot of times you see everybody might be, ahead of you or on the side or whatever. And you're like, oh, I got to hold on, I don't have that. Oh, Regina's doing this and this. And I just have this one little podcast. I got to do a show. I got to do this. I got to create this, or Supermom. She's like all over the place. I'm just right here. I got to do this. I got to get to Supermom. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, while you're sitting there trying to rush to get to all these people, you are forgetting you. It's like you are you. They are. We're all unique in our way. And it just takes time. It's going to take time. Something that took them time to do, it might take you a different time. So I always tell people, you know what? Stay in the race. I don't care if you're walking, you're crawling, you're running, but just stay in the race. Don't be on the sidelines. See, that's why I have the problem with people. When you're on the sidelines watching everybody doing their own pace, then I'm like, I look at them like, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm just sitting there watching Regina, Mrs. Vermont and, Mrs. Happiness Barbara. I'm just watching you. But you're not going nowhere. Come on. But it's going to take me too long. But at least you're starting. I'd be like,
right.
Yeah,
just do one thing.
Right.
Do one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
One
guess what?
phone,
When you're in the
one follow-up call,
that's
one
what I'm
whatever
saying.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you get in the race with Barbara and Regina and Miracle Supermom, then guess what? Then you can start asking them questions on how they're getting to where they're going. But if you just
Right.
sit in the sidelines, you don't even get a chance to do that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah. So this has been wonderful. I'm
Yeah.
like, this hour goes quick. I looked, I said, oh, where's the 8? It's almost 9 o'clock. But yeah, so ladies, I want, first of all, thank you so much again for coming on, talking about value. This subject can be, I mean, we can go in all other directions with this because it's so important. But before we sign off, I want each of you to first just, in your own, just like maybe 1 minute give, because I know the listeners, I always talk about giving value. And, with your take on value, just give them some, like a minute of what you think that they need to do if they're having problems in that, if they're, just maybe thinking way back in their mind, I don't know if I have that much. And then from that point, then tell them what you do again and how they can contact you. So we'll start with American Super.
All right. Okay. So what I would say is be in the company of the right people. Everybody can be, they can challenge you to be a better version of yourself, but they don't have to be just like you. A lot of times you learn from people that resonate with the same energy and are aspiring to do the same things, but in their own field of expertise. So just as this panel, we're all ages, different races. And I think that that's important to remember because, you're not going to accomplish or solve any problems if it's always your way and nobody else's
Right.
way. If you don't introduce different perspectives, then you're always going to be starting at the same point and ending at the same point. You're never going to be able to get outside of the line, so to speak, until you start gravitating towards people who actually have a different view and they can share with you how you can marry the two in a way that serves you instead of focusing on the things that don't serve you. So those are my thoughts.
And how can they contact you, lady?
Oh, the best way to contact me is Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on all social media platforms.
And Clubhouse. You have your own.
Yes. Yes, I'm in Clubhouse, the Clubhouse zone. Okay.
And you have your own Clubhouse, right?
I
You
have
have
my
what's
own
it called?
Clubhouse. It's the Elephant Strategy Club.
Good. Yeah. I gotta remind. Sometimes I gotta remind the queens wherever
Yeah.
they're in other places.
Look, I know we were on a tangent with value. I was like, hey, let me. I got some good notes. I can create some
I
content.
know. I was taking notes, listening, taking notes. I'm like, oh. So okay. So thank you, Superman. So Barbara, give us some words of wisdom as you always do, and then tell them how they can contact you.
Okay, yeah, you can contact me on LinkedIn and on Facebook, absolutely. And if you want a free personality assessment, just reach out to me and I'll send it over to you. The thing that I really think is so important is that when you are feeling, we're all feeling beings. And when you are feeling frustrated or insecure, or you start to get into that comparison and not being sure of your value, I want you to do my 3-step thing. Stop. Just stop what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're frustrated about something, just stop what you're doing. Sit down and breathe, get quiet, and really just feel the feelings. Because then once you do that, what underneath the feeling that you're feeling? Why are you why are you comparing yourself to somebody else? What insecurity is popping up? Because you know what, when you can stop and then wait in that breathing time and that quiet time, and then listen to your intuition. Oh, what's underneath this? Why am I feeling this way? And chances are something will pop up and it'll be like, You know that's not true. You know that's not true. You know, just whatever it is that comes up. And sometimes it's just the 5-year-old, 5-year-old kid in you that needs to be comforted. Oh, I'm just feeling lonely, or I'm feeling scared, or I'm feeling that was me a couple of weeks ago. My VA was telling me all sorts of things that I need to do for an event that I'm doing coming up. And I was like, how am I going to get all that stuff done? And I was just feeling this, and I said, okay, I've got to feel like what this is. And it was just, I was feeling scared that I wasn't going to get it all done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. And that's okay. Feel it.
Mhm.
And then let it go. But then let it go. Then let
Excellent.
it go.
Wow. So I was
That's
thinking,
awesome.
that's awesome. So I gave you an acronym, Barbara. SSB. Stop, sit, and breathe.
Yeah,
SSB.
exactly.
Are you the acronym
Exactly.
queen?
We love acronyms.
Yeah, you got it from American Supermom.
Mhm.
She start over with a smile. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good acting. I just keep going. But yeah, SSB, everybody.
There you
Stop,
go.
stop, sit, and breathe. I love that.
Mhm.
Do that
Stop
pause.
and breathe.
Yeah.
And right, just feel it and then let it go.
Mhm.
So Miss Regina,
All
please tell
right.
them some words of, well, you gave a lot of wisdom. Just if you could give us a little bit more, I
A little
love
bit
it. And
more.
then they can
Okay.
contact you, where they can contact you.
So I know that we've talked about monetary value, but I want to switch from monetary value because our real value doesn't have anything to do with the monetary aspect. So I think it's really important that we sit and we make a list of what our values are. I keep mine, posted in my office. What are my values? What is my company? What are the values of my company? And really assess what those values are for you. And then look at your life and see if you're living those values. Are you living the things that you said are important to you? And when you can do that, I think you find more confidence in yourself. You understand your own value more because you know you're making right choices that are keeping you on the path that's important to you. So remembering that our value doesn't come from money, but it comes from the type of person that we are and living our own values. So that's my piece on values.
Amen.
So, where can you find me? I'm going to give you a couple of things. The podcast is at pursuingprofitwithprinciples.com. And I have a Facebook group, Entrepreneurial Leaders Making a Difference. That's one of our groups, but that's a really good one for folks who want to rub shoulders with other folks who are in this entrepreneurial journey. And then also, I'm on LinkedIn as Regina Bergman. And then you can also find my membership site at bridgeportismarketing.com.
Awesome. Lovely, lovely. So my name is Barbara Beckley again. I'm the Diamond Factor LLC. That's the name of my company. And I want to just say, always, always remember, and I said that because I want you to say that, and I'm talking about the listeners, us on the panel, to say who you are every single day, because words are powerful. Words are powerful.
Yes.
So when you say that, when you speak it out, who you are, what you do, what your values are, just like everybody on the panel said, and you say it all the time. And I said, that's why affirmations are so important and that you should do. And people ask me, well, how many times should I do my affirmations, Barbara? I said, as many times as you have to.
Mhm.
You got to do it morning, afternoon, night. When you get up in the middle of the night, when you're feeling whatever, do your affirmations and get that mirror in front of you. No matter how much you're kind of, I look at myself.
Mhm.
But you need to do that. You need to do that because you have to start with you first. We talked about a whole lot of things about value, pricing, all that kind of stuff. But all that doesn't matter if you still feel bad within yourself or you don't know that you're of value. It's not going to
Yeah.
work. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
So say to yourself every day, I am Barbara Beckley. I am a CEO and founder of Diamond Factor. I help women get to to their purpose, passion, and drive. I help them shine like diamonds to the world. I mean, I keep saying it to myself because sometimes I don't even believe it sometimes. So I have to continuously say
Right.
that to myself.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
with that,
Everybody,
this is powerful.
the imposter.
And you can
So
reach me at
important.
so important. And you can reach me at www.barbarabeckley.com. That's my website. Finally, it is there. And it is shining. It took a while, a long time, I'm just saying, but it's finally there. It's finally there. And we just every month, just to remind everybody, every month, the first Thursday of the month, come on, 8 o'clock. I changed that. I think it was supposed to be 8:30. It was supposed to be 8:30.
I
But
thought it was 8. Yeah.
8, okay, 8. I just want to make sure. So 8 o'clock Central Time,
Yeah.
and 9 o'clock Eastern Time, and not tell everybody else find out all the other time zones because there's a lot. Because we're
Oh,
global,
true.
we are global. Just to let
Yeah.
everybody know on this panel, because I think we're streaming now. I'm looking at 4 or 5 different platforms I hooked up to, and then if you share it to your Facebook, then there's even more. So we want to
Right.
reach the mass to help you and give you value so you can uplift in your life. So ladies, thank you so much again. Just a value to me in my life and a value to others. I truly appreciate you so much. Truly. And hopefully to see you now, Regina, hopefully you could be and I'm putting that out there, a regular.
I would like that, Barbara. I would like that.
Mhm.
Thank you. I'm glad to get the details again to get them on my calendar. And
Okay, our sponsor just kind of kicked in there too quick.
made me jump.
I was like, what was
I
that?
was wondering. I was like, what happened?
What was that?
No.
Oh my goodness.
The tech gremlins decided to say, "Ooh, let's do a sponsorship."
Kind of. Who was that masked man that just ran by?
Who's that little techie running around there doing that? But so yes, Regina, we welcome you with open arms.
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad. I mean, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I hope she says. I hope she said. I'm just, I always vulnerable. Yes, I wanted to say yes.
Mhm.
So she will be a regular, and yeah, everybody put on your calendar. First Thursdays of the month.
First Thursday.
Start off with some good diamond perspective panel discussion. And with that, ladies, you have a wonderful rest of your night. I'm giving you some time back
Yes.
for you and weekend, and we'll see you in July. Wow.
Mhm.
July. Yes.
Ugh.
It's marching on, isn't it?
Mhm.
March
It's
on.
half the year. Oh,
I know. It's
Oh
crazy.
my God.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So, yep, we'll see everybody in July. Thank you,
Alrighty.
ladies.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.